So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Glamcore light. It's like really bright. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to day 22 of the 25 days of Kitmas. I'm not gonna lie, I was heavily debating on not filming another video for Kitmas just because I'm just mentally drained from having to upload videos for 22 straight days now and edit them. Hardly any personal time to do other things, but I figured this one is a pretty easy one to make. Okay, anyways, after that really abrupt intro, I'm going to be going on to the actual topic of this video, and I'm going to be talking about lighting in terms of makeup artistry. I'm going to start with the absolute basics, and that is just talking about why we need lighting as makeup artists. People are probably thinking this is a duh moment, like, yeah, of course we need light because otherwise we wouldn't be able to see our clients. And yeah, that's the main point of why we need lighting. However, there is a lot of color theory that actually goes into lighting, and color theory is the main premise behind being a makeup artist. So if you don't actually understand how color theory works, you're going to be struggling a lot with how to deal with lighting. There is two different types of lighting in the world, and that is natural lighting and artificial lighting. And that is the two types of lighting that you really need to be concerned about as far as being a makeup artist. We obviously all know what natural lighting is by now. It's when you get natural light from the sunshine. Natural lighting is going to be your absolute very best friend. So if you can have natural lighting to do makeup on people and set them right in front of a window, that is going to be your very best friend. Now here's the tricky thing with natural lighting though, because there is such thing as having bad natural lighting. This is when the sun is so bright and it's coming in almost directly into the window. Your client gets blinded, and also your client and you burn up in the sun because you're too close to the window. And then it just becomes very uncomfortable for everybody. So you don't want to have a light source that's like directly in the sun, but you also don't want to sit in a corner either where you're not getting any sunlight, or shifting them to the side where maybe the sun's hitting one side of their face and then not the other side. So here's my best tip with navigating natural lighting is you want to definitely have your clients sitting directly facing a window. They're not angled around, they're not facing one direction away from the window, but you want to make sure to push them back a little bit from the actual light source, just so they're not directly inside of the beam of the sun. Or if you have this option, say you're in somebody's house and there's multiple different rooms or windows that are going on inside of that house, you can just pick a room that the sun's not directly shining into at that point in time. So say you have a north-south facing house, you can go into windows that are east and west, just so you don't have to deal with it, but you still have natural light. Natural light is going to be your best friend as far as taking pictures as well. A lot of people think that I use a fancy camera or like editing software or something to be able to get all my good portfolio pictures that I have because they're really clear and crisp. However, I just take mine in portrait mode with my iPhone. It is all due to natural lighting. There is a ton of different examples that I can put up on the screen here of what it actually looks like. Okay, now getting on to the artificial lighting, and this is where it kind of becomes tricky. So artificial lighting is obviously not going to be as good as natural lighting is, but it can still be pretty decent compared to having no lighting at all. So with artificial lighting, there is 3 different color temperatures that you really need to be aware of, and this is where color theory comes into play. So you have your warm temperature setting, which is more of a yellowy, orangey kind of color, and then you have your cool setting, which is a more blue/white toned, and then you also have a neutral setting, which is pretty much the in-between, which is more so classified as like a daylight bulb. So how do you pick out the best artificial lighting? It honestly kind of depends on what your budget is, but the main thing with any sort of price range lighting system that you go for, make sure that it has color temperature adjusters, because you need to be able to adjust it to a warm, cool, or neutral setting because your environment will always change. You want to have a lighting system that can adjust to all 3 color temperatures and everything in between. That is my absolute best advice as far as finding lighting systems. Now, you can do this by doing a ring light, which are normally a little bit less expensive. I originally found a ring light that was off of Amazon for about $50, and it was like a 12-inch one. I did pick up this ring light, and I will go ahead and attach a picture up here, and I'll also link it for you guys down below too, but that is the one that I originally used. It doesn't have color temperature adjusters in itself, but it does have these plastic rings that fit on the outside of it, and you can change those, and it almost kind of acts like a filter. So there's ones that are more clear or white, and obviously that's going to cast more of a cool or blue tone kind of light. And it also does have yellow plastic protectors on it too, which if you change those out, it's obviously going to give you a little bit more warmth or a little bit more yellow lighting. So that's kind of the same thing as a color temperature adjuster, but I would try to find a lighting system that already has it in it. Obviously, the more sophisticated a lighting system is, the more expensive it's going to get. So then now going on on to the lighting system that I have now upgraded to, and this, keep in mind, is a not cheap lighting system. Like, this is one of the more expensive ones out there, but I do think that it is definitely worth it just because of all the functionalities that it has and the durability that it has, and just the fact that it all fits in one case. That's the only thing that really bothered me about having a ring light. This is my Glamcore light. This is the Multimedia X1, so it's a little bit more upgraded than the normal Glamcore light. Now, I will let you know that this Glamcore lighting system is probably about $400, I wanna say, but if you go onto Camera Ready Cosmetics, you can get a professional makeup artist discount. That makes it about, I think it's either $360 or $380, like somewhere around there. I mean, it's still not cheap, like don't get me wrong, but I think it is 100% worth it. I think it's been with me for the last 2 years of being a makeup artist, and I don't take it to every single job because overall it is an additional thing that I have to carry. So the main reason why you want to have a lighting system be different color temperatures is to get the lighting as neutral as possible. And this means that you're going to have to counteract whatever lighting that you're currently in. So right now with the lighting that I actually have a pretty neutral setting going on. As you can see in the background, I have really blue tone like LED lights that are coming from the ceiling, but I turned on my light in front of me, which is my vanity light, and that's more yellow toned. So between the two of them, they kind of like balance out the way that my makeup looks. And so my makeup looks very true to color. It looks how it would look in the daylight. And that's how I neutralize that out. And I'll show you this a little bit later on too with the Glamcore light. But say you walk into a room that has like all yellow fluorescent lighting. What you want to do is you want to neutralize that yellow tone. And by neutralizing it, I mean using a lighting temperature setting that is more blue toned or more cool toned to offset the yellowness of it. And depending on how yellow that the light you're in is, that's how blue you want to go with the lighting. So that's pretty much what your mindset needs to be whenever you go into a situation. You really want to think, how can I neutralize the tone of this color? With that being said, I did do a video a while back about how I like take photos and how I edit those photos with my watermark and everything. So I can definitely link up that video above here. It wasn't super popular on my channel for some reason, even though it was highly recommended. And I don't think a lot of people know about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that up above. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my Glamcore light and just show you guys like how the parts and pieces work and how it assembles. Okay, so this is what the Glamcore light looks like. I'm just gonna get it out of its case. Just unzips like this. So let me get out the top part, and that is this guy. Again, I love how it fits into one bag, and it's not like the ring light where I have to carry around the stand separately. Everything just fits into one. So this is the main part of it, and as you can see, it has these two sleeves on it. So if you uncover them, then that is all of the lighting right there. So I'm gonna leave that on for the time being. Of course, you have the charging cable and the remote here. And then this is the stand that comes with it that is actually pretty lightweight for a stand too. So you're just gonna undo the stand here. There is an adjuster that is right here. So I'm just gonna loosen it up a little bit. And you hold up top here and push down. And then it goes into a regular tripod. It just sits right there. So then now you're looking at the top of the stand right here. And then this is where I'm gonna undo the covers. And then what's really nice is that you have not one whole light source like a ring light does. You have two lights, so you can move them in any direction that you want. So as you can see, I just undid the arms, and this is how it looks. And this is the multimedia part of it. This is the phone clip that just holds your cell phone if you want it to. Now, this is the only dumb thing that I found with this so far, is that this is actually supposed to stand up like this, but instead this functionality kind of broke somewhere along the way. So I have to hold it up with my thumb, which is kind of annoying. So I have to make sure to undo it like all the way. Hold it up, and then you need to drop it inside of the base. But if it doesn't go in all the way, it sometimes like flops around. And that is pretty much how it looks. Don't mind my chair just randomly hanging out over there. So then you want to take the cord that it comes with. This side obviously goes into an outlet. I also do like the fact that this cord is super long. It's probably the length of this room, to be totally honest. Like, so you don't really need an extension cord that often, which is kind of nice. And there is the plug that is right up under here. So I'm just gonna put it right there. And then as you can see on this side, there is the power button. So it's just a touch system. So all you do is touch it like this. And then obviously, as you saw, the light came on, and then you touch it again, then the lighting goes off. So I'm gonna turn it on really quick so you guys can see. Then that is what the Glamcore lighting system looks like. You can see that it has a plus and a minus button, and then also has cool and warm. So as you guys can tell, this is your brightness setting about how bright or dark you want to go, and then this is the temperature settings. So if I start moving it up, you guys can see how bright this thing actually gets. Then if you want to obviously dim it a little bit, then you can just keep tapping it, and it'll almost get to the point where it kind of shuts almost all the way off. So then if I'm going onto the cool setting, you'll see it turn a little bit more blue. And that is the coolest setting that it goes to, but as you can see, it shifted a little bit. You guys can see it shifted more blue. And then if you go onto the warm setting, you can tell how yellow that got. So here's where my handy dandy remote comes in. So as you can see on this, I have temperature settings and I can also adjust the brightness. And then what's really cool about this though, is that it does have 3 different memory functions, kind of like a memory seat for your car. So say you go to the same place every single day, or you're in the same studio every single day, and you know what temperature setting that you want it to be, depending on where it's placed in the studio, you can just set it for that memory function. You just press and hold it and it should just set to that memory function. So say I wanted it like right here all the time, I could just press and hold this memory 1 setting, and then every single time I turned it on, I could just press memory 1 and it would automatically go to that setting. So yeah, exactly like a memory seat for your car though. It's very handy to have, especially if you go to the same location every single time. But besides that though, you can also go warm. If you see, it just shifted warm, and then I can press the neutral button. It went neutral, and then you can go and cool. And then what's really nice too is you can Bluetooth it as well to your phone. So then you can actually take pictures with it since it's a multimedia one. The only thing I would probably complain about, it's not as lightweight as I'd like it to be. Not like when it's in its case, but if I just picked it up and try to carry it around, like it's pretty heavy. But I definitely 100% think that the Glamcore light is worth the $400. This is probably the most sophisticated lighting system that I've honestly seen. So now I'm gonna show you guys in different lighting settings how you would like counteract the light if you were in a situation. So what I did is I just put my lighting system behind this camera. So you're kind of seeing like how your client would actually be looking if you didn't have like any sort of like natural light source or anything. And this camera does automatically adjust the light. I'm not going to lie. So I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit better than it would be in person. I do have very white tone LED lights inside of this room. And if you can't tell, it's a little bit less warm tone than it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Glamcore light with my remote. I want to go ahead and turn it up a little bit, the brightness up. Okay, so you see how it's kind of yellow right now? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn it a little bit more of a cool tone, and then turn it up just a little bit more. So as you can see, it not only brightened up my face, but it's very like true to color. So my coloration on my face with the foundation and like my eyeshadow and the lip color and everything are as true to color that it would possibly get if you were looking at me in person. That's pretty much what you want to do, is you want to add light to the face, but you also want to counteract any other lighting situation that you're in. I know that it doesn't seem much different than what it was already, but I promise you when I go into the other lighting setting that I have, you're going to definitely see a difference, because I'm going to take you now into a very yellow tone lighting room, and that is in my kitchen. So let's go. Okay, this is probably the most awkward angle possible, but as you can tell though, I'm in very yellow fluorescent lighting right now. Like these are all yellow, and then I'm also facing the same kind of lights but going this way. Not good to do makeup applications in at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Glamcore light, and yeah, that's like really bright. I'm gonna turn up the brightness a little bit more. But as you can see, there's still yellowness going on here. So what I'm gonna do is turn it onto the cool setting, but I'm just gonna go up gradually. And then I'm gonna stop right here. It's not probably like the best lighting that you could possibly get, but as you guys can tell though, my coloring looks very similar to what it did inside of the room, minus like the background going on, because I know that that's really yellow in the background. But if you just look at my face and everything, it looks very true to color as what it did in the other room. And that's exactly what you want to do, is you kind of just want to mess with the light. As you guys could tell, it took me like a little bit to try to get the actual color tone. Of course, I'm not looking at myself in person. I'm trying to do this on the viewfinder too, so it's coming out like a little weird too. But yeah, so what I ended up doing though is I ended up upping it to the brightness that I wanted it to, and then I started playing with the color temperature settings just to get it to the point where I felt like it was a very like natural color on my face. That's pretty much about it. So if you guys really like the video, definitely go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. Of course, leave any questions that you guys have down below. I do have hopefully about 3 other videos to film for Kitmas, so if you guys are excited about it, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as well as also turning on the post notifications so you guys get notified of whenever I upload those. And as always, I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. All right, bye.